Hey guys, Lynn here. The second I saw the Monster High 2 trailer, I just knew I had to make a video on it. Honestly, I do not hate the reboot. It's just hard for a lot of original fans to watch, and I've been watching it since I was in first or second grade. Now I'll start off by saying Toralai's outfits were definitely the best in the movie. I have to keep in mind that these characters are not based off of the originals, so I'll try not to judge too much. If you don't want any spoilers, come back another time. If you're fine with spoilers, feel free to watch until the end. A summary of the movie is basically that Monster High, since the school is somehow alive, chose Claudine and Toralai, who just came back from France, as presidential candidates. They have sand inserted into glass skulls, and whoever ends up with the most sand wins based on their acts of leadership. And I mean, spoiler alert, of course Claudine wins since she's the main character, otherwise this wouldn't be a movie. Draculaura meets this handsome vampire guy who of course turns out to be the secretly evil love interest. Then it turns out he was a human all along who practices witchcraft. He reveals this to her after two witches try to kidnap her in the middle of the night, but couldn't due to Frankie's electricity going everywhere and Claudine growling them away like a watchdog. The human guy is like, hey, my mom wants peace between the witches and the vampires. She's literally the queen of witches. And she's like, cool, I'd love to help people and finally play a super important part in this movie franchise. So it turns out the witches are hiding out in this business office where they sell herbed drinks and stuff, which make you live longer, which is honestly pretty shocking. Considering the fact we always saw her behind a glass ball in the cliffhangers and trailers, it is pretty surprising. She just looks like an ordinary businesswoman and she's not wearing some huge costume. Turns out they didn't want Draculaura to create peace between the witches and vampires after all. They just wanted to hypnotize her and make her chant a spell which kills all vampires because always destroy the enemy to get what you want, right? So they lock her in a cage, which apparently hurts only monsters, which Toralai at the start of the movie showed a scar on her hand from, which she apparently got when getting chased by witches in France. Her and Claudine were both fighting in their campaign, meanwhile, on whether or not witches were evil, but eventually saved Drac together in the basement of that office building. The love interest guy helps out in the end, and everything goes great. Drac also has this whole powerful magical girl moment too, which I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have been able to do at the start of the movie. But, character development. Claudine wins the election and gets to go back to her boyfriend, Deuce, if they're even dating at that point, but I mean, they did kiss, so maybe. But then we get left off on another cliffhanger because, of course, more movies means more money and merchandise, which is why it ends with Deuce leaving Monster High to take this test on something to find out who he really is as a Gorgon. The reason why I summarized this fully was because I think the plot overall just explains everything that needs to be said, since it is kind of interesting. The problems in the movie were Claudine trying to win an election, Frankie questioning if she's helpful for some reason, and Drac wanting peace between the witches and monsters. The funny thing is, witches counted as monsters in the original Monster High. They even had a famous witch pop star. What I don't like about this movie series is that compared to the original, it's just another cliched high school movie except about monsters. The TV show was a whole world focused on monsters with so many plot lines that just felt natural, such as Claudine not wanting Drac to go out with her brother because, it's her brother. The songs didn't impress me too much, except for Reason We've Got Magic. That was extremely catchy. I definitely prefer the songs from the first movie, though, overall. It was also very adorable how Toralai's clone was dancing along with them in the background during that song, Reason We've Got Magic. It still stuns me that in this world, monsters and humans both hate witches, so Drac is made fun of for practicing witchcraft, but what's wrong with using magic? Deuce can literally turn people to stone, is that not magic? Heath can also throw fireballs. Werewolves can turn from werewolf to human and vice versa. It's also very cliche that Drac meets a guy just like her who practices witchcraft and is also the son of high monster authority. The movie was very entertaining. It's just hard to enjoy when you remember what Monster High used to be. Also, the way they saved Draculaura was by Claudine letting her out of her cage by pulling the cell bars far apart, but wouldn't that metal have killed her? Well, it did kill her, but then the Grim Reaper showed up out of nowhere, and that just shows they really are struggling to come up with new plotlines for the next movies. He's apparently going to try to kill Frankie according to the next cliffhanger other than the Deuce thing. or at least that's what they hinted. I'm just curious if Deuce is going to come back or not, if the movie is going to be based mainly on him or Frankie. I would have loved Lorelai if she weren't a complete reboot of the one from the original show. The idea of a monster transferring back from France to Monster High to protect her kind was honestly a good plot point, it's just hard to adjust to. The original Lorelai was mean and only cared about herself and her sisters. Now she's just one of those cliche new students who think they're better than everybody else, basically. And I'm not even going to talk about Appy or Laguna. The costumes are nice, it's just that a lot of them really do feel like they're just costumes or like cosplayers or something. I liked Claudine's party dress at the start of the movie, otherwise it feels like they're trying too hard on the outfits to make them seem like something a monster would wear. I agree that the outfit should match the character, I just feel like they should seem more natural and not like fan merch or something you would buy related to a show on Hot Topic. Just look at how the originals had their outfits naturally. They had their own unique styles. Remember to like and subscribe if you like this video, and leave down in the comments if you have any analysis requests you would like for me to do. And peace out.